Hello everybody, welcome back to another lovely and glamorous episode of Strictly Chaos, possibly the best one yet. Didn't hear that from me. Now, I am Christopher and I will be your host for today, and my episode is called Grunge, and you guessed it, more grunge, and we will be talking about, you're never going to believe me, grunge. Now, I have invited a very special guest onto this show to help me elaborate more on it. This is Lucy. How are we today, Lucy?
I'm alright.
Right. Lovely. Now, what were your thoughts on the movement of grunge?
I thought I'd say it's more of a lifestyle that brought out from specifically the 80s. The 80s was sort of a wild time of bringing in new genres of music, like even from hip hop all the way to heavier metals or lighter metals like glam metal.
Mm-hmm.
Just bringing that in and just basically having a new era of music. And then following through the 90s, that's when grunge started coming about as a different genre of rock that's splitting off from the heavier rocks or soft rocks, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was mainly Nirvana. I think it was Nirvana. What was it? Pearl Jam and like Soundgarden. That they were the main bands that kind of like popularized it and made it what it is today. Now, would you consider yourself part of the modem of grunge? Would you consider yourself to be somebody who follows the aspects of it, the style, the movement? The movement isn't really much at anything anymore because it's 2025 and the world's a bombshell, but we don't talk about that. But would you consider yourself to be, grunge?
No, I don't. I don't put myself in. I don't like that genre of music. I just find it quite draining. I like this. Like, I'm more back at the 80s style of rock. That was quite upbeat and like just absolutely like wild and mental.
Yeah, like Motley Crue.
Exactly.
Motley Crue's banging.
Exactly. So underrated.
Now, do you think the term grunge has been washed out? That's just quite debatable. In my opinion, this is quite debatable because on social media has washed out quite a lot of things now.
Mm.
And grunge is one of those especially. You get so many people saying that they're, oh, I'm grunge, when in reality they are the biggest posers you've ever seen. But I would like to hear your opinions on, do you think grunge has become washed out?
I think it's been turned into an insult, if anything. I think people, if you're dressed in a certain way that's not to society standards, you get either called emo or grunge, or you're grunge, mate. When it's just people trying to express themselves, but they physically can't because people are suppressed to look like everyone else. And that's where you get just so basic people, because you can't actually be yourself, let's be honest. You can't actually be yourself in society.
That's horrible. You can't. I've never quite understood what people get out of slandering you for what you wear.
Exactly.
I mean, virtually everybody wears tracksuits exactly the same. It's horrible.
Exactly.
Now, would you say grunge is still present to this day?
I would say it still is, but I would say it's gone towards more goth, because since goth's romanticized by pubescent teens. They romanticize it. They want girls to dress up like with full piercings, this black makeup, this moody sort of exterior. And you don't really see it often. Like in noughties, emo was quite a big thing, being like emo and dressed, in a certain way, but now that's gone off. And now it's either like sexualized gothic content or just the average Joe.
As much as I want to say grunge is still present to this day, it's very challenging, I would say, very challenging and difficult to find somebody who actually adheres, am I saying that right? Yeah, adheres to the role or the correct way of being, so quote unquote grunge, because it's a very washed out word now.
Yeah.
Very many people just call themselves that for the attention that they would get off of it. And it was a shame because back in like the 80s and the 90s, grunge was massive. This big lifestyle that everybody wanted to be part of because of how raw and unapologetic it was, how easy it was to become part of something so big and so meaningful. And it's a shame that it has been washed out as much as it has.
Yeah, because see, I reckon glam metal's inspired the grunge, because glam metal was a lot of wild, smoking, drinking, drugs, sex, that wild lifestyle where like you just don't give like an actual damn about anything. And I reckon grunge has got a bit of that, but it's a bit more deeper and media than glam, which was just wild.
Yeah. I would like to say, I would like to consider myself grunge. I used to consider myself grunge at some point because I used to dress in like baggy, ripped jeans, my band t-shirts that had the epitome of holes in it, shoes that were literally falling to bits, But just as time gradually grew, no, that's not how I would say it. But like as time went on, more you stopped seeing less and less of it, and it stopped becoming as popular. And it was a shame because I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy dressing like that. I did have people who were like that I could socialise with, that I was able to express myself with. But then they switched up and they stopped wanting to be grunge. So then I was left by myself. And then there's not really a point in doing it by yourself. Well, that's the way I saw it at least. But anyway, yeah. So that does appear to be most of the time, if not all of the time we have for today. But thank you very much for coming on to elaborate on what grunge is with me.